Hello again. This is another topic that I've created. This one is on study. So why did I pick this topic? Well, to tell you the truth, it's because most people hate it, but it is necessary. Well, what can be gained through study? Well, that depends on the study topic. For now, let's look at study in general. Why necessary? Well, because when you study, you not only understand something, but you know how it affects other things. For example, if you were to study your washing machine, you would gain understanding of electrical, plumbing, and mechanical factors that have direct bearing on the use of the machine. No direct bearing on the use of the machine, but they allow you to install, fix, and even build it. So, how to study? Well, first of all, pick a topic and write it down. Write down the areas you're covering. Don't allow yourself to be sidetracked. Next, pick a time and place, a quiet time and relaxing place. Make sure you're mentally and emotionally stable if you can. Never rush a study. The important thing is what you can learn and apply, not how much material you can cover. Be sure that you recognize how you can apply what you're learning. If you can't be sure about something, don't stop your study. Just mark the confusing point down and continue. When you're done, you can reflect on it. Maybe everything will be clear by then. Notes are important, even if you never look at them again. Simply by writing out something, your study will enter into your mind and it'll stay there. Now, after you're studying, you can test yourself. Well, you want to ensure that your study was actually useful and that you really understood it. So that's why you test yourself, as though you were teaching it to yourself. You see, when you hear something, you've heard it. When you say something, you know it. But when you explain something, that's when you understand it. So, what is the most important thing to study? Well, there are many things like family, finances, health, education, employment, relationships, and so on, but as much as these things are important, there is one that's even greater, and that's yourself. Why is that? Well, we all have things about ourselves that we would like to change, admit it. Everything we do in life will be affected by self-examination, such as how we respond, how we interpret, who we forgive, goals we set, friends we make, and so on. Even how we spend our time, money, and energy. All these things will come with self-study. And self-growth, it doesn't just happen. There are those that are 80 years old and they haven't grown in wisdom. Now, wisdom is being able to put what we know into practice, which is what we get from study. It's the goal of study, gaining wisdom. So, let me guide you through a self-examination study for you, okay? I'm taking comments. If anybody wants to add to this or comment, like, even subscribe, be happy to do that for you. Be happy to take it. So, I can't see who you are, and I don't know you, but even so, I can show you a few pointers here. First of all, look back at all the good, happy times in your life. Pick moments when you felt at peace, content, and hopeful. This is important because many times people refuse to do self-examination because all they do is get down on the mistakes. In order for your personal study to have any effect for your benefit, it must be a positive reinforcement, not a negative one. So think back to this happy time. Recall everything you can about it. Write it down if possible. Then recall the way you looked around others, the impression they would get from you. This is important because it reminds you of how you want to be, the image of yourself happy. Now, don't get sidetracked by how that ended or why it could never be again. The point is, you were good at that point. Is that not true? Alright, in order to benefit from this, you must become convinced of the simple fact that inside your heart, you're capable of doing good, of saying good, of looking at yourself and others around you in a positive light. Now, once you have this, you can use this. It's a tool. Whenever you're studying, take the first 5 or even 10 minutes just to put yourself into that position, that mental position, and it'll allow you to look at everything in a better light instead of looking at what's wrong. Say, I can be good. Say, I am not evil. And remember to say, I'm not good enough for myself either. You see, not one way or the other, because both opinions of yourself are wrong. You see, you might not want to be negative, but if you're too positive, you're thinking everything is all good, well then you're going to be completely oblivious to the life around you, and you're going to say nothing's my fault for something you did or said. A big part of self-examination, self-study, is staying on topic. It's very easy to look at the mistakes others did and waste all your time griping about how you were mistreated. When this starts to happen, recall the reason you're studying. It's not for them, it's for you. It's not to figure them out, it's to figure you out. Remember, your goal is to be that happy person that everyone likes, that good person. Also consider this: the person you're angry with isn't hurt by your anger at them. They may be by the way you behave, but that feeling of resentment and anger stays with you and hurts you. These feelings are your enemy and will not allow you to see yourself the way you are, happy and good. Now that we have focused away from the others and focused on ourselves, we can look forward. Ask, what will I act like the next time I see or talk to the person or people that I have concern over? Or if it's a personal matter, ask, how will I stay positive and good while facing the issue? Because, let's face it, we can't expect our problems to disappear. Even if we change locations, jobs, friends, beliefs, even ourselves. The trick is knowing deep inside that whatever comes your way, you can and will try to stay that happy, positive, good person you know you can be. So, why does this have to be such a powerful effect? Well, Dr. Bruce Lipton explains from his years of research into the DNA that it's the chemical composition of the blood flowing through our bodies that affects our every cell in our body. And what changes this chemical composition? Everything from what we eat, breathe, and think about. When you change your perspective on the world, you change how you feel. Like when you're angry, you can feel it. So too with being in love, you can feel that. So what is happening with these emotions is that they're affecting the levels of dopamine and oxytocin, even serotonin and growth hormones. These levels of chemicals in your body. Dr. Bruce goes on to explain that in a lab, if he was to give these chemicals to cells he was experimenting with, these human cells, they would exhibit rapid growth, maintain themselves, and have increased energy. So the feelings of being in love, well, it does this to your body. You know, the feelings of being alone, they have their other effects on your body. So you can regulate these chemicals in your body. And I'm not going to bore you with too many details, but I advise you to look them up, because science has proven itself wrong again. It used to think that the way our genes affected us told us how we were going to be and determined what we will become, which is true to an extent, but which genes get activated depend on your environment. You can both activate our genes and modify our very genetic makeup based on our environment. And it's actually been seen in radiation victims. They've had a terrible outcome from their environment. And the point is, that our old understanding of victimization is wrong. You are not a victim of your genes. And by knowing this, it allows you to try with confidence, knowing that you can change, working towards fixing yourself by studying the environment that you're in. And it's worked for me. You see, many aspects that I won't get into affect a person's mental outlook, right? And you can write them down. Write down your environment and the issues that you get regarding the environment that you're in. And take comments. I'm taking comments, so write them down and let me know what you think. Now, finally, whenever you examine yourself, it's good to have a follow-up exam planned to reassess your progress. Not only will this help you further analyze your goal, but it'll make you more aware of yourself on a daily basis. So much of what we do is just responding to others. If you're feeling that inside you can't do it properly, ask, is the situation going to improve while you're in that state of mind? Remember, your goal is to be that good and happy person, and to give those around you a good memory of you. No one can be expected to do that under extreme stress or frustration. The saying, stop and smell the roses, is a valuable lesson. After all, life isn't about the end goal. It's about how we spend the time getting there. And developing friends who love you gives a meaning to your life, and that will help. I know that there are many ways that people look for their soulmate and their friends, and there are many out there, just as I am doing that. Well, know that it is possible, and that through study, you can find answers to some of the most important questions. I'm Keith Martin. Thanks for listening.